Welcome to a belated Thornley TMD update. I can't believe it was July that we last did one. I don't know where time goes, but apologies for not doing a video update sooner. But hopefully, if you watched July update and watch this one, you'll see that a fair amount has been done. We'll start down the south end, and hopefully you'll see that we have now completed all the scenery down the south end. The grass was too dark before, so we purchased the World War Scenics grass applicator. Thoroughly enjoyed doing that. So it's got a combination of different grasses, 2mm, 4mm and 6mm, summer, autumn, dead, you name it, it's all on here. And once all the grass is done, we went over it with some underbush, foliage, you name it, and a big inspiration from Dave at Dean Park Station, who kindly did 2 updates on how to do scenery. So enjoyed watching them and took his advice, and this is the result of what I came up with down at Thornley South End. So you'll see, hopefully it's a vast improvement than what was on there before. Bare grass, but now we've got everything in place. Some overgrown grass down by the buffers, a couple of trees added, and certainly now makes this end look the part. There's a nice little gravel footpath for the driver to go around and move that lever should he need to. You'll also see in the background we've had some small warehouses, industrial warehouses built. They were kindly built by a gentleman called Nick Dale, who you can find on Facebook. Asked him what I needed to be done, and he did them for me. We've also added some fencing all the way along. That's a barrier, and we've done some grass in between the track to make it look a bit overgrown, because this south reception siding is really going to be a siding that's not going to be used hugely. Storage of a few locos and wagons. At the moment we've got a nice 47 in rail freight, 319 Norsk Hydro parked up for the weekend. Looks good. Very pleased with how that's came out. Another thing we did was take up the railings in the service area. Wasn't pleased with those, and thankfully Justin at Model Rail Scenery does these handrails, so I purchased some of those, painted them yellow, and have added them, and they certainly look a lot better than my effort using old Hornby railing. And I've put them down at this end of the depot as well, just to make sure that nobody goes up on the grass bank. Down by the old terminal now I've also added some scenery and some more fencing there as well, just to finish that section off. Haven't done this part here. Obviously this is going to be left blank for the moment until we decide what we're going to do around the extension for the fiddle yard and the viaduct, which will eventually be there. Excuse the mess. And obviously the freight line goes underneath, eventually comes round, and we'll go down there. But again, we've taken a fair bit of track off because I've used that to use elsewhere. But that's for the future. We're concentrating mainly on the depot area, and coming along really nicely. I've also added the underbush and a few knickknacks all down by the side of the warehouse, just to make it look a bit unsightly, which you would normally find down by the side of the buildings and track. It's never prim and proper, so we've got as far as going down to there with the overgrown bushes. I've also redone the ballast in the yard. I used Chris Nevard's method of doing sludge inside all the track using Das clay, so I did that. It looked very weird all in red, but that was an enjoyable part. Then did a black emulsion wash over the track, and then went over it with some new ballast just to make it look more realistic. I think you'll find, I think that now looks pretty much spot on. As I mentioned in the last video update that we were hoping to get the depot build up and running. I think I said on the last update that by the end of August we'd see something. We have had a little bit of progress, and if I turn the camera around you'll see there is a first stage build of Thornley TMD. It's been laser cut by James at DCC Train Automation. This is our first attempt. There's a few little issues we've got to resolve, but we're getting there. And you can see that that has been laser cut, and those windows are absolutely superb, and there's actually a piece of glass behind there. But I think what we're going to have to do is put 2 more additional struts in the middle, because that glass area is so long that the actual wood has slightly bowed, so we'll address that. I've done some fictitious doors just on the front, just to see how it would look. A bit reminiscent of Toten, I suppose, but under no way is this ever going to represent Toten Depot. But I put the doors on there just to see, and if I can bring the camera up to the front, you'll see that that is all been laser cut. Those lines all in up there are all individually laser cut, and also we did the brick sections down below. I'm probably not going to get my camera up close enough, but all the bricks have been laser cut. And we've also done some cross beams that have been put across. I think these will be amended. I think they're a little bit too small and not thick enough. They do bow quite a bit, but obviously the strength will be there when they're supported by the joints that go down onto the actual concrete ground. But there's a few of them, but I think we're going to have to increase the amount. But I'm going to have to find a way of getting over that, because I need to put my hand in to get to the locos inside the depot. And obviously that's the lifting shed area, and we're going to have a long window there as well, which again we might have to cut in half just to make it work. Obviously the back end of the depot hasn't been built yet, because this depot is so big. James's laser cutter just wouldn't be able to produce a piece of wood that long, so we're going to do it in 2 sections. But that's what we did. Got a week off beginning of October, so very, very soon I'm going to be visiting James again, and we're going to go back and re-evaluate this and start again where we have gone slightly wrong. I think you'll find that I think there is a couple of millimetres out, and I think a couple of the doors are a couple of millimetres away from the left and right, but that was my fault on measuring. But if you get some idea of what it looks like, I think the depot is going to be rather stunning when it's done. Take a bigger, longer angle shot. You'll see that's most probably coming down to the layout. When that depot's full and you've got a row full of engines outside the front, it's going to look rather smart. A couple of new engines bought since the last update. I think I had an absolute result. I went to the Western-super-Mare Model Rail exhibition in September and came across this little beauty, which is Class 60 066. It did have a name on there, and on the other side, if I turn it around, it used to have the Transrail logo on there, which I absolutely hated. Thankfully I wasn't around train spotting and being an enthusiast in the mid-90s when all these Transrail and mainline liveries came up and spoilt the old rail freight. So I have taken that off. There's a little bit of an overdone on the bottom, but we can cover that with some weathering, and you'll see a brand new, I think I had a kind of result. Even at £104.75 I think was a good price, but £79.99 brand new, never out the box, I think was an extremely good purchase, and that adds to the other 4 Class 60s I've got already. So we've got 5, and we'll get around to detailing that one day. Don't ask me when. The other purchase was this little baby, Helgen Class 58, 58048, Coventry Colliery. I did buy 3 of these, albeit different number, a couple of years ago from Olivia's Trains. I did sell 2, kept one of them. Wasn't impressed with the sound that I bought, and obviously there Olivia's had grey doors which are completely wrong, but this one is a correct livery. Normally around 125 quid, I think I've seen them 115. This was brand new in the box, and I got this for the whole price of £62.99. So thank you to Richard Railways for basically giving me a brand new loco for even under second-hand price. An absolute steal, and that will take pride of place on Thornley. And again, that one will get heavily weathered in due course to make it look like they were when they were pulling coal trains. So pleased with that one. So that's added to the Thornley fleet as well. And star of the show, I think since the last update, has been, I think I mentioned that there was going to be an extension to the warehouse and a footbridge going across Thornley Yard, and I'm pleased to say that that arrived about a week or so ago. Because it's so long, it's half a metre long, obviously it's been made of plasticard. It had bowed slightly, so I've had to glue it in and press it down and build a little concrete base. But if I turn the camera around, for those who haven't seen it on Facebook, there is my new footbridge, and I have to say I am over the moon with that, and it just personally think that brings that part of the layout alive. An absolute amazing job done by Robert Sanderson. What I've done is down the end is I created a concrete base out of Screwfix tile grout, which I've done all the concrete everywhere else, and literally drilled 4 holes in, and that allowed me to bring the footbridge across and literally held it down with a bit of weight so it's level into the concrete. It's bonded. I've also glued it under there and there, and this thing ain't going anywhere anytime soon. But I am over the moon with that, and you'll see at that angle, a lot of people have said it reminds them of Doncaster, and yeah, I agree. There's a bit of reminiscence of Doncaster there. I've put a supervisor walking across the bridge. Don't look too happy, so obviously someone's upsetting. But if I come up again, away and around the angle, you'll see how wide that footbridge actually is. It is stunning, and so big thank you again to Robert for doing that. It's made my layout. A few more knickknacks put over there. Speed sign that's never been put up. I have put the speed sign up on the head shunt, 5 miles an hour, and I've put another one coming out of the head shunt down to the main yard. If I can find it, where is it? Anybody see it? There it is. 10 miles an hour. Obviously speed restriction in depots is pretty slow, so I've put a few of those over to make it realistic. So there's the angle going now down to the depot, and again once that depot's built, a load of locos in the yard and in there, it's going to look rather tasty. So we've come a long way since the July update. Been working most evenings, doing little bits here and there. Really pleased with how that scenery's come out. That's my very first attempt at doing scenery, so I ain't going to complain on that one. I think I've done a good job. But again, big thanks to Dave, Dean Park, for showing us a how-to. I think I reballasted down the sidings as well, just made it a little bit lighter. So next thing to do is obviously I'm going to go and visit James, and hopefully we'll start on phase 2 of a rebuild of that one and get that starting. There's plenty of fiddle yard tower lights to go in, but I doubt if I'll put those in yet until we've got a little bit further, because on my last Thornley layout I did lean over and accidentally nudge one, and they are very thin and easy to damage, and I think I've done that already on the oil terminal. You'll see I've got a middle street light there, the depot light, and I've got one there, and there was one there, and obviously when I leant over and did the scenery, I damaged it, so I'm going to have to replace that one, but hey ho. So hopefully you'll all agree that is coming along rather nicely. Certainly starting to look a little bit more realistic with scenery and footbridge and buildings, try to make it more lifelike. We'll enjoy a running session when it's all done, but main priority at the moment is to try and get as much as we can done, and then we'll go back to putting all on computer and getting it computer all run. So I'll leave you with a shot of down here, which I think will look rather nice when it's full of locos, and if we can get those doors rolling up and down with servos, I will be a happy bunny. I might even get a Thornley Engineering Limited sign going up on those warehouses just to give it that overall look. But there's another view of the bridge going across the depot. Thanks to everybody those who subscribed. Please, any comments always welcome. Those that follow on Facebook will have seen all this, so hopefully you've enjoyed the video update as well. Nice to see it in the flesh. Welcome any comments, questions, queries. By all means stick them on Facebook or underneath the video on YouTube. More than happy to answer questions. If you want to see anything in particular, let me know. I don't know when the next video update will be, but we'll try and do it before 3 months. Do apologise again for the belated update, but I just don't realise how quick time goes. But there you go, that's an October update. Thanks for watching and speak to you soon. Take care, bye bye.